As temperatures outside are breaking records, inside of Texas prisons, the heat is brutal and people are dying. KSAT Investigates has received dozens of emails from loved ones of inmates pleading for help. Texas does not require air conditioning in its prisons.
Recently, a rally was actually held in Austin called 85 to Stay Alive. It is pushing lawmakers to allocate funds to cool Texas prisons. Despite that community support, Lee Waldman explains it's a problem not being fixed.
You can see the heat waves outside of the barbed wire fencing. It's over 100 degrees outside, but inside the walls of Texas prisons, it's even hotter.
He's been through a lot in his life. The choices he made, yes, but this is inhumane. This is unacceptable. And yes, I'm worried about him dying.
This woman didn't want to be identified. She's worried about backlash her son, who's incarcerated, might face.
Very physically and mentally exhausting.
She's not alone.
Well, it says a lot.
Savannah Eldridge has a brother in prison in North Texas. Eldridge says her brother tells her about the sweltering heat inside as well.
I'm concerned that not just my brother, but many of the incarcerated men, there are people dying in their 30s.
So far this summer, 8 inmates and 15 staffers have required medical attention for heat-related injuries since temperatures started rising. A representative with TDCJ says none were fatal, but the Texas Tribune reported this month that at least 9 prisoners have died since mid-June, while heat indices were in the triple digits outside.
We have, during the summer months, someone that has succumbed to cardiac arrest, that has succumbed to seizures or another emergency, and they did not have a history of that.
We pulled recent death records of 3 inmates, all under the age of 50 without underlying conditions. In each, the cause of death is listed as cardiac arrest.
It would really be prudent to check the core body temperature, and that would be a better indicator of who actually did succumb to heat-related issues.
Since 1998, at least 20 TDCJ prisoners across Texas have died of hypothermia or heat stroke, according to TDCJ data. 10 in 2011 alone resulted in lawsuits filed by family members. But just how hot is it inside these walls? Texas A&M University researchers Carly Purdom and Benita Dixon set out to find out.
You have a temperature that's taken in one space every day, but what we need are multiple temperature points throughout the facility, and it's difficult for us to get access to that kind of data.
They collected available TDCJ data and surveys from inmates from 2018 to 2020 and found that temperatures regularly reached 110 degrees inside prisons and peaked at 149 in at least one unit.
We had one individual that says, during the hottest part of the day, I feel dizzy, see stars, and feel like I'm going to vomit. My hands and feet swell, making my use of limbs limited.
In 2018, it was made a priority to add air-conditioned beds and respite areas where prisoners can get access to cooler temperatures for 10 to 15 minutes at a time.
Incarcerated people are describing it's the same thing across all of the units. We see the same pattern, is that they're frequently denied access.
In May, the Texas House and Senate reached a deal on a $321.2 billion 2-year spending plan.
With Texas having its largest surplus in budget, lawmakers are giving the Texas Department of Criminal Justice an additional $85.7 million to be used in 2024. That's on top of the $4 billion for its regular budget. A representative with TDCJ says that money won't go towards cooling temperatures inside.
I asked TDCJ to sit down with us and speak about heat in prisons. This was Director of Communication Amanda Hernandez's response. When pressed as to why, she said they're answering questions via email. She explained they're prioritizing cooling beds, adding 9,459 over the last 5 years. With over 100,000 incarcerated people in TDCJ prisons right now, and only a third of Texas prisons with full air conditioning, tens of thousands are left to suffer in the brutal heat.
Do you know that the dog pounds even have air conditioner? But the state of Texas prisons don't? That's pretty sick.
There's been proposed legislative changes for years. This past legislative session, Representative Terry Canales out of Hidalgo County proposed House Bill 1708, which would impose temperature requirements inside of Texas prisons. but that bill didn't make it out of committee. However, he has made several pointed tweets at Governor Greg Abbott about those living conditions. In one of those tweets, he called it, quote, government-sanctioned torture.
Obviously, this affects Lee, the inmates in there, also the people who work in these prisons. There's a question about humanity, which, was touched on in your story, but cost as well. How much would it actually cost to air condition these prisons?
That really depends on who you're asking that question to. So if you ask TDCJ, they'll say about $1 billion to cool all of its uncooled prisons, which is more than 70% of them, which are not completely air conditioned. However, during a 2017 lawsuit over high heat in the prison unit near College Station, that cost estimate to cool that unit was inflated to $20 million and then fell to $4 million after the state then settled and agreed to install air conditioning in that unit. It was an 80% decrease to the original cost estimate.
All right, I want to ask a question. I want to clarify really something here. When someone dies and it's a heart attack, they don't take their core temperature, correct?
In this current data that we can see based on TDCJ reports through the Attorney General's office, no.
Right, so they can't tell whether it might have been heat-related. They just know it was a cardiac arrest.
And it's hard to tell if someone has a heat-related death unless you are doing that body temperature check at the point of death. It's hard to tell. Even our medical professionals not working with incarcerated people can say that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Texas prison regulations. There are prison regulations. Then there are Texas prison regulations. Do any of them basically require humane living conditions or something like that in writing?
So if you were in a jail, there is some kind of regulation in place. So back in 1994, there was a provision passed that required Texas jails to be temperature controlled, keeping them between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit in all of their occupied areas. But again, nothing specifically written about TDCJ. So once you're sentenced to prison, no requirements. In 2018, after a years-long lawsuit and the state of Texas shelling out more than $7.3 million in legal fees, TDCJ agreed to cool down one geriatric unit near College Station. There have been other lawsuits filed, dozens of other lawsuits, specifically following the deaths of at least 10 in-prison inmates in 2011. According to the Texas Tribune, Texas has spent $6.4 million legally representing TDCJ in heat-related litigation since 2011. So over the past few years, there's been another $10 million paid out in settlement expenses for wrongful death lawsuits for prisoners who have died of heat stroke. So if we're looking at the cost it would take to cool these prisons, we're spending it arguably in litigation afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked at the start of the story about the 85 to Stay Alive rally last month at the state capitol to try to make changes here. Any other similar efforts planned to push for this?
So just announced today, there actually was a similar rally that's planned. It's going to be in August. So the woman you saw in our story, Savannah Elridge, she said that they're planning a prayer circle and candlelight vigil outside of the governor's mansion on August 11th at 8 p.m. They're hoping to persuade him and other political leaders to call for a special session in order to mitigate the heat risks in prison. If you want to watch this full story again on Texas prison heat, go to our KSAT YouTube page and also follow it here on KSAT.com.
Clearly you don't want Texas prisons to be cushy. You want them to be a place that people don't want to go to. But when it comes to that one temperature of 149 degrees inside, that maybe's crossed the line there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people just want their loved ones to be able to serve their time and make it out alive after they've served that time.
Yeah, and the people doing their jobs inside of these places as well. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.